If you've ever found yourself in a place where you didn't think you could be redeemed and you didn't think you could take back your life and you thought everything was terrible and you couldn't get past it, you better watch this interview. After years of what she says was a happy marriage, today's guest has an interesting story to tell. Not only did her now ex-husband attack her out of the blue after never having even said a cross word to her for many years, but she did something you won't believe. This pastor, this coach who I'm interviewing today, she did something you won't believe.
I decided I was going to hire a hitman to take him out.
Her name is Joy Martin, and I think you're going to want to stick around for this one. Get ready. My name is Angie Atkinson, and on this channel, I offer free daily video coaching for survivors of narcissistic abuse to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in your life and your relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. If that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and join my tribe. It's one step closer to taking back your life.
Today I have a really special guest for you. Her name is Pastor Joy Martin. She's a fellow life coach, and well, let me just let her introduce herself to you. Joy, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I want to say good morning. Hello to everyone in Angie's awesome community.
You guys are awesome.
Yes, they are awesome. And Angie is too. I know Angie is so committed to her community. So I'm very grateful. I wish we had more coaches like you, Angie, that are really committed to their community. I am a pastor, and I'm also a transformation coach. I'm a transformation coach for single moms. I work with them and help them get out of survivor mode. I'm also a coach for women who are stuck, lost their identity, and for anyone, one of the moms that are struggling with any special needs. I am a single mom myself, and I have 2 special needs children. So that is a lot within itself. So I could definitely offer some support and some advice because they're older now. And so I remember the younger years when you're just trying to find your way through.
Absolutely.
Not a lot of support sometimes when you're a single mom and you have special needs children. It's a totally different ballgame.
Absolutely. And that's especially true for those of us here in this group who are single moms with special needs children as well. You know, I wanted to ask you a question. You said something about survivor mode.
Mm-hmm.
What did you mean by survivor mode? Can you explain that?
Yes. Different situations brings us to being in the position of being a single mom, whether you were never married, divorced, widowed. And for most women, we want the security, especially financially. And so when one income goes away, possibly, there's like a whole nother person that kind of kicks in. And what am I going to do? How am I going to feed us? How am I going to take care of us? Where are we going to live? And you can get trapped in that cycle of not enjoying life, not enjoying your children, but I'm just trying to stay alive. Never thriving, but I'm just trying to make it, but we're here trying to make ends meet, and ends never meet. They are ends. So ends never meet, and we just get stuck there. And I used to be stuck there. So that's why I want to reach back and help other single moms get out of that cycle. It's just like a hamster.
Yeah. And I think that is of particular interest to a good percentage of this audience because single mom or not, a lot of them feel like they're stuck in toxic relationships right now. So what advice would you offer them if you're stuck in a toxic relationship and you have kids, let's say? What advice would you offer these people right now? What would you do?
Your safety is the most important thing. Safety. Sometimes things hit you out of nowhere. You don't see it coming. I could tell you a quick, I'll make it quick. I've never been in a relationship with a narcissist, but I was in a relationship, my oldest son's father, and never abusive all the years we were together. And it was just, he snapped one day. So a lot of times we hear a myth that you always see signs, and that's not true. It's like he snapped one day, and, I don't want to get too graphic, but it wasn't pretty. I will say that it was not pretty.
So there was physical abuse.
Oh, yes. It was never, we were together for years, we were living together, at this time. And we had just broke up. So we weren't even together anymore. We were just working on, picking up, going back and forth with our son. And he just flipped out. It was my time to pick him up. I got off from work. This is something I do every day. I picked him up when I got off from work, because then it would be time for him to go to work. Mm-hmm. And I'm not giving him to you. And you tell any mother that, it's like, what? What do you mean? We do this every day. It's 5:00. You have to be to work at 7. We were co-parenting, and he said, no, I'll bring him to you when I'm ready.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Before I knew it, I was on the floor. So, because some people can't handle all of that, but I was on the floor and he was sitting on top of me. And so it became very physical, very violent, very quickly. Like, when I say split second, it does take a second to change your life. Mm-hmm. I really mean that, because I know that I was standing there talking to him and I was on the floor. I couldn't see. My glasses were broken in my face. It was horrific, and it happened like that. And there was never any signs the whole time that we were together. So sometimes it disturbs me and always hear there were signs, red flags, and you missed it. That's not always true.
Wow.
So I had to move. We went through the whole restraining order, ex parte order, I think they called it at that time. And this was years ago. We went through. I went to court every Monday. Monday was the ex parte day in the courtroom. So I went through this for a whole year. So emotionally
drained.
I was drained every year. Took off from work, took off from school. I dropped out of school. It was just, my whole life became consumed with, is there ever going to be an end to this? Is there ever going to be an end to this? And my son, he was like 2 at the time, and he saw it. He saw everything. So we had to go to counseling. He wouldn't go to sleep, of course. He started having nightmares. So it was just a whole aftermath after that. And so I do understand toxic relationships. We weren't in a relationship at the time because we were technically separated, weren't seeing each other anymore. But it just spiraled out of control. And like I said, that took years to kind of build my life back up. Begin to trust again is huge, especially when you didn't see any signs. You're just like, okay, what do you look for the next time?
Right.
There weren't any signs, just like, so like the person, like he's a valedictorian of his class, like smart, genius, tutor for math, very, very quiet. That is like genius level, like.
A question for you.
Yes.
When you were with him,
mm-hmm.
was he always very sweet to you all the time?
Mm-hmm.
So no emotional abuse at all? No, it just one day snapped?
Yes. No verbal, no emotional. Because because abuse can be in different forms. Somebody talking to you bad, you're ugly, you're this, you're fat. None of that.
So no gaslighting, no undermining, he was just a perfect husband. What made you split up in the first place?
I found out that he was cheating. That was like, what? Just because it was so out the norm, for us or whatever. And that's what made us. And so we had just talked that week. We had talked that week, and he was like, can we try, to work it out? And I was like, I don't think so. Right. And that was our first time that we really separated. Like I said, I moved out. I went back home for a little bit, and then, I got a place. But we were separated for a good while before this event happened.
Wow. So how did you get through that? That's incredibly, it sounds like it would have devastated you emotionally as well as physically, obviously. Mm-hmm. How did you come through having been cheated on, having gone through a divorce, having dealt with all this, and then your ex-husband physically hurts you? Did he do it in front of your children?
Yes, my oldest son, he was there. So that's why I said we had to go to counseling.
Oh, that's horrible.
I went to counseling for him first because he couldn't sleep through the night. Mm-hmm. And then if he did sleep, he had to be physically touching me some kind of way. Like he would not sleep in his bed. And he was just about 2 at the time.
Oh.
So he kind of really regressed. So we were off the bottle. We were working on potty training, and everything stopped and went back to the bottle.
Right after that event.
Yes. Went back to diapers. So things really affect children. And so we were in therapy for my son for a good while because he couldn't sleep because he saw everything.
Poor thing. Oh my gosh. So you had to figure out how to make your son better and make yourself better in the process all by yourself. What did you do?
You take one day at a time. One day at a time, because the physical is what you see right away. So I had to get new glasses. The bruises were gone after a year.
Oh my God.
My hair grew back after a year. But the emotional, it stays a lot longer. And like I said, because there was no red flags, it was a while before I was ready to get into another. Because in the back, I was like, well, what if this happens again? There was no telltale signs, but just day by day. And I really started praying and asking God to give me the strength that I need to rebuild me. Because I worked on my son. He was doing much better, made much progress, but then I was still a wreck emotionally. Like I said, the scars always, they go away, most of them anyway.
And
go away.
Yeah, and as a mom, I think it's our first instinct to take care of our kids first.
Yes.
Even though if we were on an airplane, we'd all be dead, right?
Right. right.
Anyway, that's a terrible joke. But it's true. I mean, the reason I bring that up, it's a good example. You do have to take care of yourself first before you can really, so but you did what you had to do for your son. And so then here you are and you're healing, and what are you doing? What is working for you, and what has worked for you up to this point?
Working for me, honestly, is self-care.
Yes, I love that.
Taking care of myself is so important. And just being a single mom, both of my children, my oldest one, the one that was there at the time, he has a learning disability, ADHD, ADD. My youngest one is 17, and he has autism. That's a whole nother challenge on its own. And so as a mom, we're always giving. But if you're on E, if you're running on fumes, you really have nothing to give, and you can't give them your best.
True.
So you have to really take care of yourself, and I had to learn that the hard way.
I totally understand.
And I'm trying to stop people from learning the hard way before they're sick all the time, before they're just like, I'm going to flip out, nut up, because they don't take the time to just breathe. Just kind of regroup, step back. You're not the worst mom in the world if you take care of you first.
Yeah.
No guilt, no shame. You got to be the best you for the best of your children.
So true. So true. So after that incident and all of that stuff happened, did you struggle with your self-esteem at that point?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because you're just thinking, what did I do? Did I do anything that I'm not aware of? Will it happen again? Waiting, for the hair to come back kind of thing. Like, oh my gosh, I've never had hair problems, face, not the most beautiful, but everybody thinks they're beautiful. But
I think you're beautiful.
Just saying. Thank you. You just don't want any scars.
Totally.
And I think that's for most of us. Some of us do have physical scars on our body, but the face is what you see when you first see people. And so I did have scars and lip, and all of that, and just thinking, is it going to go back down? Is it going to go back to normal? Am I going to look like I used to look before this happened? And if anybody finds out, what would they think of me? What do I think about myself? I had to really think, what do I think about myself? What do I say about me? Because I was in such shock afterwards, because like I said, it never, even after it happened, I was still like, what just happened? Like, you're in a daze.
Yeah.
You're literally in a daze, like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's shock.
It was a huge shock. Yes.
Absolutely. So do you feel like at this point you seem like you're secure, you're gorgeous. I was thinking that even before we talked about that. And you know, you're together, and I know you're coaching and everything. So how did you go from feeling that way to feeling like you're capable of rocking the world as you are today?
It took some time. It didn't happen overnight. If you really do you want to hear a really good story, Angie?
I would love to hear a good story.
Because you won't believe this. I mean, this is me just being very transparent. Mm-hmm. And if I share things, it's because I've been through it and I want to help somebody else.
That's exactly what I do. That's how I roll, girl.
Yes,
yes, absolutely.
Very transparent. But after a whole year of going to court every Monday, he used to go to court every Monday. You know, was a warrant put out because he wasn't showing up, things like that. Mm-hmm. After the full every Monday for a year, that's what he got. He got a little, because it was his first offense. Like I said, clean cut, Valley Victoria, you know, genius, never got any trouble, no record. So the judge did like that, sent him to some anger management classes and said, you know, you need to pay her back for her glasses. So like, I think it was 18 months probation. Mm-hmm. The $300 for the glasses, and you need to do community service, something like that. So needless to say, I was beyond livid. Needless to say.
Yeah.
After all of this we went through, you know, and the police tell you when you have an ex parte order, that paper has to stay physically on your persons. Physically. So they say you can make copies, but you need to have it in possession at all times. So it was in my diaper bag. It was in my book bag. It was in my purse. I mean, half of the family had the copy. It was just, you know, we rearranged our whole life for the year. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, my son went to counseling, and I'm like, that's it? I was like, that's all. That's it. That's all he gets. So I decided, I decided there's no justice in the justice system. So I decided I was going to hire a hitman to take him out.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, I was like, you wouldn't expect it. You wouldn't expect it. I thought, you know, I really honestly took God off his throne, and I decided I'm going to play judge. And because of how you treated me and our son, and this is all you get, you don't deserve to live. Mm-hmm.
What happened? How did that work out? That's shocking. How did it work out? Bombshell.
Right. It's, like I said, most people are like, what you did? What? And it was, and I can say now, because this was 20 years plus, okay? Because my oldest son will be 24 this year. So this is 20 plus years ago. Mm-hmm. You know, when you get to that state, you really are kind of crazy. You know, can I just be honest? When you really get to that state, if you're not crazy, you're on the edge.
Yeah.
When you start talking about, I'm going to take you out, and you're plotting and planning. You know, I had a notebook, and I wrote everything out of what I was going to do. And by this time, I did have a friend. I started seeing somebody. Mm-hmm. And because, like I said, this was a year, 2 years later by the time we really got to court. And I asked him to do it for me. He said, are you crazy? He said, you want me to do what? I said, yeah, I was manipulative. If you love me like you say you do, you'll take them out. And he was like, are you joking? I said, I'm not. If you really love me like you say you do, take them out.
Wow.
Go on. We could go on with our lives. And he was like, you gotta be I'm not. And I was straight face. Like, I'm smiling now, but at that time I wasn't. And he said, how do you expect me to look at your son knowing I took his father out? And I was like, he won't know. We'll be better off without. I mean, I was just so bitter. Mm-hmm. You know, I was the bitter. It was rage, revenge, all of that mixed up in one. It was like I didn't even recognize myself, because that's not the kind of person I am.
Right.
I'm not a bitter person. I'm not revengeful. But going through that process and thinking that's all he gets. Oh, no, he has to die. And that was really my attitude. So, of course, my friend at that time told me no. He said, I can't. He said, I just can't. I just can't.
Thank goodness.
I can say thank goodness now. At that time, I was just like, get out. I just kicked him out of my house at that time. But now I can say, I'm so glad that he didn't listen to me. I'm so glad that he didn't listen to me. But can I tell you, I had talked to someone that I knew that was, we used to call them, I'm not trying to be offensive to anyone, but we used to call them a functional junkie. That's what we used to call them. So I'm not trying to be offensive, but, drug addict, and they're functional. A lot of people that hide it very well, but I knew that he was, and I talked to him, and I said, if I give you half now, and then you do it, and then I give you half later, can you take care of it for me? And he was like, yeah, no problem. Yes. Can you do it for me? He said, no, as long as you keep your word and take care of the funds, yes, I can do it for you. And so I continued to make a plan. I had it all written out in my book. He used to deliver the newspaper in the middle of the night, because I used to go with him, the routes that you wake up in the morning, your paper's out there. I used to be on a route with him at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So I knew his route. So I said, just make it look like a robbery. No big deal. Just, shoot his brother, but kill him. Take him out, though. But just, you got to get both of them so it look authentic. He was like, okay.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. Yes.
So what did you do? How did this, what happened next?
What happened next? I was actually in the process. I was supposed to meet him that week. And I was rehearsing my book, what was in my book, because I wanted to burn my book. I was in the mirror, like I said, crazy. I was in the mirror making faces of what I was going to say when his mom would call me. Because his mom and I were close.
Right.
And we were still close through this whole ordeal. We had to do some other different things for her to see her grandson. Right. Or he couldn't be there when he came over. When we came over, he couldn't be there because of ex parte or the crazy stuff. But I was just practicing how to cry, how to be devastated, just all this sorts of stuff in the mirror. And all of a sudden, I heard a voice say, don't do it. I was walking back and forth in my apartment 3 o'clock in the morning, reading my book because I was going to burn it the next morning. And I went to the door. Nobody was there. I looked at the window. My son was asleep. And I'm like, okay, you really gone to the next level because you're hearing voices now. And then I heard it again. But this time it was more profound. It was more louder. And I honestly knew I didn't hear anything. It was God talking to me. Don't do it.
Oh my gosh.
And at that time, I promise you, I fell to the floor, started bawling, and asking God to forgive me for trying to kill somebody. And that was the start of the real healing process. That was the real start.
Wow. I have goosebumps right now.
It is a true story. I promise you can't make it up. It's a true story. God literally saved my life because I could have gone to jail.
Oh my God.
God saved my children's father's life because he would have been gone. And can I tell you, this is the best part. Out of everything I said, Angie, the hitman, the one that I wanted to take out, we are friends now. I asked him to forgive me for even putting him in that situation. And myself and my son's father, we're friends now.
Wow.
I forgave him and I told him everything. He was just sitting there with his mouth open like, you were going to do what? And I said, yeah. And so forgiveness is huge.
Even when they don't deserve to be forgiven, it's huge. It is.
Yeah,
it's for
because
you.
It's really about you. Yes, ma'am. It's about me. And I had to get set free. Mm-hmm. I couldn't walk around with all that anger and bitterness. Like I said, that wasn't me. I became a different person. Yeah. Because I went through that trauma, because that was very traumatic. And so I was doing things that my real personality, I would never do. It's just like I became a different person. So after I went through the healing and God basically washed me, I went back and asked for forgiveness and made things right. And all of these years later, like I said, 20 years later, everybody's wonderful. Everybody's wonderful.
Wow.
The one that I asked to take him out, because he was honestly, he was a professional hitman. He was a professional hitman. So that's why I was like, so what's the problem? This is what you did for a living. Like, he said, but this is emotional.
Yeah.
This is, I know you, I know the baby. That's different. So I was like, you a punk. You a wuss. Get out. Kind of thing. Can I tell you, he is a part of my ministry right now.
Wow.
He's a part of the church.
That's amazing.
That's only God can do all of that, Angie.
Yeah.
Nobody can take credit for all of that.
That's intense. That is the most amazing story that I think I've ever heard. That is amazing.
Really?
I mean, wow. Wow. And to see you today, you would never guess. I mean, it's amazing. Wow. You need to write a book about this.
I keep saying I'm going to do it. I know people say you need to write a book. I have gone to women's events or retreats and shared. I'm waiting. What I'm really waiting for is for a man to ask me to come to a men's conference.
Oh. That's
what I really want. Because I think sometimes we're so geared to the women, but I need the men to see the backstory of it. Because sometimes they don't see that unless they really hear it.
Right.
So that's one of my little things on my list, is to go to a men's event where it's all men, and I will give them all the graphics and make it very detailed.
All right, men, you hear
about
this?
That. Yes.
Listen up. If you have a men's conference,
yes.
invite Joy.
Yes. Because you need to think about that before the hand goes up, or even before a word comes out of your mouth, because words destroy.
Yes.
Physical things, they heal, but the emotions, it lasts a lot longer. So that's one of my goals, is to really go to a men's conference and talk honestly.
Yeah.
Like I said, very detailed, very graphic.
Well, I think that would be a service to men and women. So I say thank you for that. Yeah. Yes. Again, men, talk to Joy. All right. I've got 26% men. I know they're out there. Talk to Joy. All right. So wow, I don't even want to stop talking about that, but in the interest of time, let us talk about this.
Yes.
So in your business, when you're helping single moms, what are some of the services and specials? I know you have specials right now. Kind of first give me a little overview of services and then tell me about your specials.
Sure. I coach single moms, whether it's individual coaching or group coaching, because a lot of moms, like I said, they are stuck in survivor mode and they don't know how to get out. Yeah. And because our children are our priority, most of the time we don't think about ourselves, or whatever dreams that we had, we think it all has to die because now we have children. And I would say it doesn't have to die. You may have to go a different route. You may have to be a little bit more creative, but you can still have your dream. You can still create the life you desire. You deserve to be healthy, wealthy, happy, all of the above. So just because you're a single mom, those things are no longer, I don't want people to think, or the moms to think they no longer have access to that. And so that's what I really work on: mindset. I work on goals. What do you dream about? What did you dream about before you had your child? What makes your heart sing? And we really get down step by step, and I help them create a plan of how they can still accomplish that as being a single mother. It doesn't just have to all end. Yeah. And you just stuck and you're like, well, I guess I'll wait until they're 20. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. That's really good. That's really good. And you said you had a special, didn't you? Yes. Okay. Talk to me about that.
For your awesome community, awesome community, I do have a special right now for single moms or moms that have special needs children, especially autism, learning disability, or ADD, because that's what I've worked in professionally, and both of my children have those disabilities as well. I do an 8-week counseling session. For the one-on-one coaching session, I will reduce that all the way to $150 for 8 weeks for 1 hour. For the group session, that will be $100, and that will be with about 8 8 females in the group. I can have more than one group, but at least 8. And so you can go. Were you going to ask something, Angie?
Yeah, a couple things. I think you're about to tell me your website, so tell me that. Yes. But also tell me, how do they access the sessions? Do they need to come to your house, or can you talk to them on Skype, or how does it work?
I can do Skype. We can do phone. It's very flexible. Online is so amazing nowadays. Yeah. And especially as a single mom, you know, it's like sometimes we feel like I can't add anything else to my schedule. The effort to drive somewhere, daycare, who's going to watch, you know, all of that. So it's so convenient just to be on the phone or on Skype. Yeah. Very convenient.
Absolutely.
They can go to bit.ly/Coach Joy. So that's the bit.ly link for my schedule, bit.ly/Coach Joy. The calendar will come up, and you can go ahead and schedule your, it's a free discovery call, so everyone can call. Even if you're not able or you don't think this is the right time, you still get 30 minutes with me, your free coaching session, or your free discovery call. There's a little questionnaire I believe it's the 3rd or 4th question. It says, how did you hear about this? I want them to put in Angie's name. Put in Angie Atkinson, because then I know you are the ones that get the deep discount. You are the ones that get the deep discount. So yes.
So thank you. That's excellent. I know a lot of people could use a free discovery session and discounted coaching, especially, you know, single moms can always save a few bucks. So that's a great,
yes, we can. Yes, we can.
It's a great deal. Okay. Do you have any last words for our audience today, our tribe?
Yes. Be encouraged. You are not by yourself. Regardless of what it looks like right at this moment, it won't always look like that. I wish somebody would have told me that back then, when it just seems like I was in the midst of a tsunami and I didn't have anybody that could really tell me that. And probably if they did, I probably wouldn't have believed them because it looked so bad by the natural eyes. But being on the other side, and like Angie said, I don't look like all the things that I've been through. So just know, whatever is going on right now, it's not the end. It's the beginning when you're ready to take a step forward to say, you know what? I do not have to stay in survival mode. I do deserve the best, and my child does too. So be encouraged. Angie is awesome. Like I said, I wish there was more coaches. She's really on the front line to serve her community. So you're already a part of an amazing community underneath the wings of an amazing coach that's trying to guide you along to avoid some of the pitfalls that she had. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Angie, for inviting me. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It has been great. And I have one last question for you.
Sure.
Are you going to be okay with me putting the whole hitman thing in the headline?
That's fine.
Okay. Awesome. I have had so much fun with you and been shocked and amazed this whole call. This has been amazing. Thank you for sharing that story with me. I'm sure that my audience will also sincerely appreciate it. You don't often see a woman who is together, who is as together and as focused and centered as you are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
yeah. And coming from having been there and coming here, this is hope for everyone. Anybody who feels like you're losing it, just take a look at Joy. Joy. I love your name too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Joy. Thanks so much, Joy. I will talk to you very soon, and I'll send you a link when the interview's up, all right?
All right. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
Can you believe this? This is the most shocking story. I can't even, I couldn't believe it when she started to tell me. I just had to share it with you guys. It's amazing. Anyway, if you ever think that you're beyond hope, rewatch this video. This woman has changed her life so significantly, and I just had to share her with you guys. I am so impressed. And I want to tell you that she never told me about the hitman until this interview. Yeah. Wow. All right. Tell me what you think about all this. It's crazy. I don't know how she came back from that, but sure enough, she did. And just like the time, well, anyway, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to let you guys get back to your lives. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And hey, Thanks for letting me be a part of yours. I'm going to include all of Joy's links in the comments below, in the description below. See you soon.